All right. President Trump's July 4th, 250th celebration was a massive patriotic success. I'm talking Mount Rushmore, American flags, fireworks, history, pride, the whole thing. And what did the left do? They melted down because Americans from all over, all ethnicities and races loved it and showed up. And the left and mainstream media's reaction wasn't just political, folks, it was unpatriotic and un American. Take a look at this.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Dave, you are sorry.
No good.
You're such an you are so emblematic to the idea of the power of free speech. Tell me tonight, as we look at the 250th anniversary of this country, why you are proud to be an American, and how do you view our country today?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
Now I see why Trump gets mad at y'all all the time. Why would you ask me that? All right. No, I got an answer for that. I don't agree with everything that our government does, but the one thing that I really consistently believe and that I love about being an American is my countrymen. If I'm overseas or around the world, anytime I see an American over there, we just give each other the Fight Club look, because we live in a madness that only we really understand what it's all about. And I have faith in my countrymen, no matter how crazy all of this will make it feel, that the sun will rise and that I feel like I'm part of a very incredible community. So God bless my countrymen, and let us make this country absolutely great.
Nice.
And
Cheers to that. Dave, yeah.
cheers. Hey, get me a beer, would you? And Mr. Trump, please leave those Haitians in Springfield alone. We love them. We love the Haitians.
All right. All right. So you see there, this is what the media has been doing all throughout this whole lead up and up to the 4th of July. They have been trying every way they knew how to throw cracks in this, from talking about the renovations that President Trump did, to the reflection pool, to making this about communism. They've been unpatriotic. The media has been trying to poke like just little cracks in everything, and they failed. Nicole, what did you think of that exchange there?
Those were some of the most unhappy people I've ever seen at a celebration.
Yeah.
They looked like they were at a wake. They're standing around. Anderson Cooper looks like he's at another planet, like his mind is somewhere else. He had to be the most somber person on the National Mall. Had to be. Even Dave Chappelle, who wasn't even there, was turned up. It's like, I love my country. I love my countrymen. That's what you're supposed to say when we're celebrating not just this particular administration, but our entire nation. Whatever our shortcomings are, you put that to the side, and this is the day to wave your flag and stomp your heels for the freedoms that we enjoy. Whether or not you partake, it's up to you, but it's a time to celebrate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shelley, what did you think of that exchange?
I love Dave Chappelle. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I love Dave Chappelle. There's pretty much nothing he can say that really, vexes me. I think I love it. I love the free speech. I love him as a comedian. I thought that was hilarious. Okay. Him mocking the president, mocking CNN, but he did it in his inimitable style, in jest, in patriotism, with a patriotic spin on it, if you will. And he's always smoking and drinking. Okay. So you never know what's going to come out of Dave's mouth, which is why I love him. Again, racial jokes, trans jokes, gay jokes, no matter what, male, female, I love it all. Okay. That's why I have dark humor, if you want to call it that. Mm-hmm. But look, Dave to me symbolized right at that moment, he symbolized what it means to be an American, and an American who definitely loves our country. Okay. He's made his wealth, his fame basically on American soil, and he is grateful for it. Comedy notwithstanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, now I'm not a huge Dave Chappelle fan. His comedy is not my kind of cup of tea. But I love how he called them out for trying to cause some type of issue on the 4th of July. And he brought it back to, we are all Americans and I'm celebrating with everybody else, whether you're from Tennessee, Mississippi, to DC, to New York. This is the day we celebrate. And it's the 250th anniversary, which is something that we're going to make a larger celebration about. Okay. And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Mm-hmm. But not everybody was pleased with the celebrations. Not everybody was pleased about seeing American flags. This takes us to Sunny Hostin. Today on The View, she said some of the dumbest crap I've ever heard. Take a look at this. We have this clip here. Listen to what she says.
On the show, and I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
Because the flag belongs to all of us.
It does belong to all of us. But those men were wearing a flag on the show, and I said there are times.
All right. So let's unpack this. I want to get your thoughts on this, Nicole. I mean, we're 3 Black women here. Mm-hmm. Are you afraid, or do you get nervous when you see the American flag?
Nope. I'm from Pennsylvania. Here she go. Right here. I hope it's scaring the pants off her. Give it a wave, Shells. Give it a wave. Go to bed, Sonny. Go to bed. Let me tell you, this flag has so many meanings to so many people. Mm-hmm. For people who have marched in formation for it, people who've given their lives for it, the wives and children who've lost their loved ones behind it, this flag means something. When you hear Dave Chappelle talking about traveling abroad and you see another American, you don't go, oh my God, it's another American. You just look at him and go, mm-hmm. These stars and stripes mean something around the world. And it is not hyperbolic to say that people risk life and limb to live under it. They do. Sunny is suffering from what I like to call an elite case of TDS. Because if this was a Democrat president enjoying the FIFA World Cup, the 250th anniversary of our nation, and the upcoming Olympics, she would be draped in the American flag. They would have to peel it off of her after every episode. This is partisan politics, and this is not the time for that. If this flag scares you, there are many other countries on this globe that would be happy to have you. Don't stay here if this flag scares you. You're not supposed to be here.
Exactly. And once again, they're othering themselves. Shelly, what's your thoughts?
Like Nicole said, I hope she is shaking in her literal ass, her boots. She's the kind of ingrate. Not only is she an ungrateful person, she's a bitch, she's a former federal fuck up, but she's the kind of ingrate where I want to put my stiletto in her eye. I do. I want to just, bat her in the eye with a stiletto heel. She makes me sick. These are the people who have zero compassion, gratitude for the men and women who are in their graves, who are brought back in body bags so that bitch can sit there and say she's fearful. I hope you are I hope she's shaking so much she's shitting on herself. Excuse my French, y'all, because I wasn't going to curse tonight, but I can't stand these ungrateful Americans. They live here. They're born here. They breathe our soul. They enrich themselves, or they make themselves wealthier. They benefit in the most highest, the best ways possible. Okay. The wealth and the education and the access opportunities they have, they could go around the world 10 times in some countries and still come out on the profit side. Okay. This is what I mean. These are ingrate. That's what she is. She's an ungrateful bitch. I hope her pants got poop in them because she's so scared.
Absolutely. And she's a Marxist. She's a Marxist, activist who, the reason why the flag bothers her so much, it's not because it makes her feel like white supremacists have taken hold of the flag. It's because she hates what everything America stands for. We know this to be true. They hate our founding, all right? They hate everything about it. They try to twist the history. They do this, and they wrap it all in the flag. And so this is why she hates it. And then they other themselves, okay? We know as Black Americans, that flag is just as much ours as anybody else who is native to this land, who loves this land, who lives here. All right. Well, we know her family, she's come from slave owners. Okay. Remember, she said that. She found that out. As much as she tried to cry about slavery, she posted on The View how she did her ancestry and her family were slave owners. Well, surprise, surprise. But this is what we're talking about. And this takes us to Mamdani. Folks, when I saw what Mamdani said on the 4th of July, I sent a message to you ladies. And this is some of the most hateful rhetoric I have ever heard, especially on the 4th of July. But the left ate it up. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 3.
A decade ago, I too felt what you feel. The joy of no longer being just a New Yorker, but an American too. You each hold a special power, the power to determine what America means. The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal. America, if you ask...
This is what he's saying on the 4th of July. I want to get your thoughts before we continue with this, Shelley. He says America is a place where that people are unequal and it's full of white supremacy.
Yeah. So I would have loved to have asked him, well, what is it that you would like for the rest of us to do to make these other people who claim to feel unequal? And you know what I would say to that answer? Not going to happen. I'm not going to cater to their ingratitude, their emotionalism. I'm not giving up my citizenship, my American, benefits, if you will, the gratitude and love that I have for this country to make those anti-American Marxist communists, they want to, the rebels, if you will, make them feel comfortable. In fact, I don't want them to feel comfortable. I want them to get the hell out. That's what I want them to do. If you feel so badly here, get the hell out. Take your hijabs and your bayas, take them back to whatever Muslim country you want, and you can be under their subjugation. All you have that right to do so. But on this soil, it's going to stay America. American soil, America benefits. Damn Roberts, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett.
All right.
Them becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin. The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit. How small they are, how weak, how unoriginal.
Where's he getting this from, Nicole?
First of all, I want to know who this mysterious they that he keeps talking about. They said this, they said that, and he talks about small. When this picture of him finally opens up, he's sitting behind George Washington's original desk, and you want to talk about somebody who looks tiny behind the desk of a giant, behind this man who put this nation on his back. They wanted him to be president forever. It was him who said, no, we can't have a president forever because it sounds like a kingship. He shouldn't even be at that desk. But since he sat his happy ass behind it, look how little he looks. Yeah. He looks like a child playing at his father's desk, a peon playing at democracy. He doesn't know enough about this country to define who this mysterious they who doesn't want these people there. And again, back to where he started at the beginning, how were you a New Yorker before you were an American? That doesn't even make any sense. You started off on the wrong foot. I've had it up to here with this dude. Brian in the chat said it right. He is a jackass.
Absolutely.
At every moment in our past, those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another. Division is the oldest trick in politics and the cheapest. But time and again, including 250 years ago, those forces of division have been vanquished by the forces of progress. As Thomas Paine once wrote, "This new world hath been the asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty. Hither have they fled. And yet today, too many of our leaders do not believe in a vision of this nation as an asylum for the persecuted, but rather as one that persecutes those seeking asylum. As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. Wow. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more.
Wow. Well, you know what I see? I see a bunch of you and a bunch of your smelly hijab wearing people and everybody else begging to get in. If it's so bad, if it's so hideous, if it's so unequal, why are y'all still begging to get in? I mean, putting your life and limb on the line to get here. If it's so bad, and they are trying their damnedest to push this communism. Folks, communism doesn't make everyone equal. It makes everyone equally controlled, except the ruling class. And this is what he wants. He wants big government. He wants government to be God to all of us. And guess what? That's anti-American. America was built on the idea that every person has God-given rights, life, liberty, property, speech, religion, self-defense, pursuit of happiness, and communism square and socialism, which is communism light, flips that all upside down. This man is a disgrace.
Very much so. Look how they look. They look so dark. Look at, I mean, they have no smile, no happiness about themselves. No, they're just standing there like props, which they are. And this is what he wants. And behind George Washington's desk. I mean, get your butt up from that desk. You're not, just get up and get out.
You know what's so funny is they're holding those flags like they're snakes. Like it's going to like turn around and bite them or plunge in the flames at any given moment. This doesn't speak patriotism to me. This doesn't speak celebration to me. This doesn't speak like they understand the gravity of the moment. If this is their pitch to say, we belong here, we're just like you, we've assimilated, boy, have they missed the mark. They have missed the mark big time. And I'm going to tell you, KJ, you know how much I love me a political picture. I do. You can read a lot into a political picture, but you would have to dig up my dead corpse to drag me into that photograph. You would have to dig me up and forcibly put me up like Weekend at Bernie's to be in this photograph with him. He is absolutely a disgrace to those stars and stripes. Absolutely a disgrace to be sitting behind that desk. And New Yorkers, everything that you got coming, you deserve. Every single thing. People who stay home elect communists. This is what happens. And these people right here that are afraid, like Sonny, of this flag, listen, like I said, I got 100 on your give, send, go to get the hell out of here. Go back to where you came from. We don't want your sour faces here. We do not.
Absolutely.
We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans. We see a nation whose immense wealth has been built by those with calloused, dirt-streaked hands, those who toil on factory floors and chisel into stone. And we see a nation that has allowed so much of that wealth to be held instead in the soft hands of a precious few. Yes, we see America in a health insurance industry that exploits the sick, but that is not all we see when we look for America. We see it too in the nurse who works a double shift and then stops on our way home to check on an ailing neighbor. Yes, we see America in corporate landlords for whom negligence is a business model. We see it too in the father who tucks his children into bed beneath a ceiling stained with leaks, who wakes before dawn to go to work and still believes his country can do better by his family.
This was his 4th of July speech. This is what he put out for 4th of July. I mean, this is awful. It's disgusting. I don't understand what was the purpose of this, Shelley? What was the purpose of this? What were we as Americans supposed to get out of it?
Well, the purpose for the Mamdani types and all of they were to upstage Donald Trump. That's what they were doing. They will upstage Donald Trump. He had that beautiful backdrop of Mount Rushmore, which I want to go next year. That beautiful backdrop, my bucket list. He gave that amazing speech. It was inspirational. It was encouraging. It was patriotic, of course. That's what he was trying to do, upstage Donald Trump. And basically, again, another way that he's going to give the finger to the American people. And he's basically telling New Yorkers, this is what you got. This is who I am. Like you said, Nicole, you're stuck with me. And this is what we're going to do. This is what you are becoming, New York City. Frank Sinatra, all the Genovese families, even the mob families will be turning in their grave. Okay. They are turning in their graves. How you are destroying New York, Mamdani, and all of you who voted for this. How do you keep voting for your own demise? New Yorkers, come on. You're supposed to be a little bit more savvy to the language, the claptrap. What the hell happened?
Well, they sold their freedom for a free bus ride. That's what they did. They sold their freedom and their rights for a free bus ride, which most people was jumping the turnstile and getting on the bus without paying anyway. Let's just do that. And for rent control, if you lived in a rent controlled apartment. But you don't have to control the rent when you make more money, right? When the economy is booming, you don't need to say, oh God, please don't raise my rent because I don't make enough. What's going to happen now is when you see these Democrats, the socialists have taken over the party, and then you see these so-called incumbents, right? Because now, since he's elected, he's an incumbent. All of them sounded like bitter bitches. I mean, our own governor, Wes Moore. I mean, like, you needed some Xanax after listening to his little speech. Where is your pride? Where is your pride in this nation? Where is your pride? And he talks about all of these downtrodden people. And I want to remind him, you are the mayor of the very city that you're tearing apart. If there's a woman working a double shift that stopped and checked on a neighbor and you feel some kind of way about her, pick up this thing we call a phone and call her. Call her up. Maybe send her some Chick-fil-A over to the office, because that's generally what people do when we work hard. They send food to the emergency room. Or if a guy's living in an apartment and it's got a leak, fix the damn leak. Instead of making everything a political fundraising point of view, because that's really what they were doing, trying to raise funds from the people who felt some kind of way. Instead of doing that, wouldn't it be easier to embrace the stars and stripes just for one day? Your soul's not going to die. You're going to be okay. And you never know. You may convince people who see you for who you are that you're not really a demon in disguise.
Yeah. Speaking of demons, it doesn't stop with him. Jasmine Crockett also had some disgusting, weird 4th of July message. Here she is. Take a look.
This 4th of July, I say celebrate a Black woman that you know, because whether it's an invention that she made or whether it's the very democracy that still hangs by a thread right now, there is a Black woman to thank for her contributions. When it comes to answering the question of what America owes Black women, the answer is everything. When we think about the sacrifices that Black women have made from the moment that we were stolen from our homelands and transported into this country.
What is this? I don't understand the connection. I really don't. Nicole, I mean, what am I missing here? We're 3 Black women.
We're not missing anything. We just don't speak that language, the language of foolishness. Now, whoever wrote that and put it on a teleprompter, she's doing her best. She's struggling, but she's trying her best to pull it off. You can tell that she doesn't even believe what she says, because every time she's speaking and she does like this, it's a lie. It's a lie. We learned this from Abigail Spanberger. Every time she says something, she looks up either to the right or the left, and you know this woman is lying to you. Same thing here. She doesn't believe any of the things that she's saying, and thank God for January. Come on, January. When we get to send her back to Texas or wherever the heck she's going, and she can just fade off into the sunset, or at least we hope so. But what's really demeaning in this situation is, there are plenty of Black women who had lots of inventions. There are plenty of white women who had some inventions. There's some Hispanic women. So those women don't count. Those other inventions don't count. America is made up of a broad base of people. We have never been a melting pot. We're more like a salad bowl. You know what I mean? There are some carrots, there's a little bit of radish, and everybody gets a little bit of ranch when Kamala's around because she's spreading her word salad around. But all of that to say There's so many things that make this nation great. If we were all the damn same, it would not be any fun. Why is this person who's actually the personification of a DEI hire, let's do all of that, complaining about Black women not getting enough credit? We get plenty of credit. We got her. We got Sonny Hostin. How much more credit do we need?
Well, my thing is, this isn't Mother's Day. The connection,
Month.
It didn't make sense to me. Shelly, what you thought?
Well, let me tell her the advice she should take about celebrating a Black woman that she's not taking. Madam C.J. Walker, because you would be using your own damn hair, your real hair, and having that, styled or whatever, because you're not, so you are giving the F to Madam C.J., a Black woman, so you're not even taking your own advice. But like you, KJ, I thought, wait a minute, what holiday is this? What major inventions should we be celebrating on July the 4th from Black women? And maybe there are some. I'm not saying that Black people cannot or have not invented, but certainly, certainly not many Black women I could think of. Maybe some Black men, but this is July the 4th. These people want to do everything they can to disparage the country where they live and breathe and accumulate so much wealth and benefits, fame, notoriety, whatever. They want to denigrate it every chance they get, which is, again, also tells me how fake they are, because the one test is that they're still here. They are still here. They're not trading places with these other Black and brown women across the world who would actually scrape and crawl to get here and would be appreciative of it. They're not doing that. Oh, no. They're going to be here, denigrate, be ungrateful. There's never anything that they can say that that would give some positive, if you will, a positive honor to America, its soil, its people. Nothing. They will take every chance. These are ingrates at the highest pinnacle. They need to go. I wish they would. Unfortunately, they are Americans, but thankfully speaking, even the foreigners coming here to watch the World Cup, they are appreciative of our country in the ways that we take advantage on a daily basis.
Yeah. And not only are they ingrates, they're parasites. They're parasites. What they want to do is either tear the country apart and remake it into something that none of us that the founders didn't want, that is something unlike any of us ever, that is going to thrive, or they want to just continue to suck out everything they can from this country and give nothing in return. Because we know that communism, socialism is not the great ideology that creates businesses and innovators and thinkers and things like that. We know that it's a type of ideology that creates big government, and big government preys on the people. That is not what America is about. That is not what 4th of July is supposed to be about. All right, folks, we want to hear from you. Sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. I mean, how did you celebrate this 4th of July? Do you think that the messages that we're hearing from the left are the messages that we should be hearing on the 250th anniversary of this country, the birthday of this country? Sound off and let us know. Also, as you come in, make sure you hit that like button. We have over 300 people watching. We want to get those likes up, and that helps YouTube to push this out to more and more people. I know we got some super chats, Shelly. Is that right?
Yes, we have Kung Fu CJ, our first super chatter tonight. Thank you, Kung Fu CJ. Where's the flagpole and the stars and stripes? Yeah, he's talking about that dark Mamdani video. So yes, he's not going to have it, Kung Fu. He's not going to have it because these are communists, these are Marxists, and they don't want anybody to celebrate. Certainly not America. They want to be the ones at the top and tell you what to celebrate. When they want your opinion, they'll give it to you.
Right. Absolutely. Folks, again, as you come on in, hit that like button, and your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. Folks, we are smart, edgy, and conservative. We are patriots. We love this country. We know it's not perfect, but we understand the greatness that we have here in this this experiment called America. And so if you agree, your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. Not a lot of voices out there that look like us, that sound like us. And so to keep us online, we love for your investment in what we're doing here. Also, we've got merch, right, Nicole?
Oh, we do. And man, I left my cup in the doggone living room. So it is not too late to get your A250 merchandise to commemorate this amazing milestone in our nation's history. This cup is so beautiful. I got one for myself and some people on my staff. Not Black, not white, American. Don't let them divide us should be our mantra going into these midterms and then going into next year's elections. You know what's important, folks? Don't think because it's after the 4th of July that you don't need this merchandise. Yeah. You do, because when your kids or your grandkids grow up and you can pull some stuff out, it is a beautiful thing. I remember my dad showed me his stuff from 1976 when I was a kid, and I was so blown away. One, I thought he was really old. Let's do that. But it was so much Americana, it just kind of melted my heart. So get yourself some merch. Get yourself a commemorative t-shirt, a commemorative cup. Don't use it, put it away, put it on the shelf somewhere. Then get yourself a second set so you can actually wear it and have a good time. But it will make an amazing keepsake to explain this historic moment to your grandkids and hopefully your great-grandchildren.
Absolutely, absolutely. And folks, it doesn't stop here. I mean, Trump, talk about addresses, talk about, speaking to America. Trump gave an address on the 4th of July in front of Mount Rushmore. That was unbelievable. Okay, unbelievable. Take a look at this. This is clip 5.
As we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack. A generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations. Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty. It is the greatest threat to our country, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11. We're not going to let this happen to us. Believe me, we're not letting it happen. Because communism is the enemy of free people everywhere in the world. Never works. It's the enemy of the Constitution. Above all, it's the enemy of July 4th, 1776. It is the enemy indeed. Even while the radicals and extremists attack our incredible history at every turn, they are silent on the miserable history of communism itself, because it never worked. Thousands of years, if you look at it, under different names, under somewhat different ideologies and systems. That system has led to more death and destruction than any system ever tried. It killed 100 million people just in the last century alone. Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil.
Absolutely. And somebody just posted in the chat that I thought was very important. It's the enemy of foundational Black Americans. All right. So folks, Black folks, you better wake up. All right. You better wake up, because take a listen to some of these Democratic socialists like Mamdani, like the one that just got elected in Colorado, like the other ones in New York City. These people are trying to push up illegals. They are making calls for a globalist community, not foundational Black Americans, okay? And let me tell you something. When they do this, when they continue to uplift illegals and anybody else outside of people being here in America, you know what happens? They take the place of foundational Black Americans. All
Absolutely.
Right. This is not a movement for us. And you better get out there and tell everybody that looks like us, because folks, we're going to be on the losing end of this thing.
Absolutely.
They try to use us, use the civil rights movement, use the traumas of past slavery and discrimination to put themselves up to make a globalist movement of illegals, of people that are not foundational Black Americans, not foundational Americans at all, to take over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts?
No, you're right. Let me say this. Let me put it real succinctly. Communists love to rewrite history. They love history in as much as they can rewrite it. They will use race, skin color against the masses, if you will, just so that they can get the edge. And then it means nothing to them. Your skin color means nothing. What it means, only thing that matters to them is that you are under their foot, basically. Your history, your foundationalness, okay, absolutely means zero to them. And they will use it and rewrite it to their own advantage. And FBAs, you will be under the foot, under the grave, under the ground, just like any other skin color or quote unquote race that's represented in that community, in that country. You better wake up. These people do not give a damn that your skin is dark or that you had ancestors here 400 years ago. Does not matter. What matters is that you are under their rule and they will be on top, the communists. That's it. That's all. You better get it quick. That's it in a nutshell.
Listen, I've been telling you for 2 years, brown is the new black. I've been saying this. The Democrats have not hit it at all. They have been very frank with it. You want a proof? Look at Chicago. Look at Chicago, what they did to their elementary schools in their neighborhoods and said, no, your children don't need to be educated. We'll bus them somewhere else and let us put these brown people here. And the reason we want these brown people here is we don't really care about them either, but this is our new voting bloc, right? Because they don't think, they do as they're told. They're just grateful to be here. Y'all remember back when Black folk was like that? That's why all y'all joined the Democrat Party. Right? You joined up with these Democrats because it was groupthink. It's what you were born to. It's what you're supposed to do. There was no free thought involved in it. It was assigned to you like a sex at birth. But then when you got older and became a bit more free and did a little bit more thinking, and God forbid you had to write a check to the IRS, because I'm going to tell you, that alone will make you a conservative.
Oh, yeah.
That alone will make you a conservative. Yes. But all of that aside, when you take a look at what has been happening, and who they court, who do they go to, and not just knock on your door and ask you for a vote, but who are they saying, listen, if you vote, we're going to build a child care center here. If you vote, we're going to protect you on this cause, that cause. They don't care about Black folk.
Nope.
They never have. It was the voting bloc. And now that bloc has not only been separated by the influx of immigrants, but by law, by the Supreme Court, you are no longer valuable. You have become a plain old American.
Yeah.
They're
using Black folks. Foundational Black Americans, they're using us. All right. We are the ones, people who we fought. Our people have blood and fought for this America. You know, communism tries to replace that with class warfare. All right. We're not outsiders begging for permission to belong. Folks, you better claim, you let Sonny Hostin tell us that red, white, and blue stripes on the flag don't belong to us. Don't let her do that. Our ancestors built this country. We survived slavery, fought in the wars, paid taxes, built these churches. We did. All right? This is just as much our America as it is anyone else's. It doesn't belong to illegals. I'll tell you that. Absolutely. And Mamdani and the lady who won in Colorado and the rest of them, they're shouting about free Palestine. Okay, well, we talking about free Chicago, free Baltimore.
Let's do that. Mm-hmm. Let the city live. Let the city live. Educate our children. How about that? And stop teaching them about alternative sex and all that. Let's just do some 2-digit multiplication. Can we just focus on some basic, simple things so that our graduates can make change of a damn $20 bill at a gas station? Little tiny things. We're not asking for much, but here's the rub. They don't care about these brown people either. And soon enough, what they will find is many of these brown people come from very conservative countries. They have traditional.
I think they do care. I think people like Mamdani and the one in Colorado and the rest of these Islamic communists, they are going to stick together. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day, these folks are about the global takeover. All right. They are about uniting under one global connection with in religion and all of that. Absolutely. And it doesn't include foundational Black Americans. Wake up, folks. Wake up. All right. We need to join forces with the patriots of this country. Okay. No matter the skin color, people who love this country, who love the founding, who understand that we are connected through that. All right. That's who we need to get together and join, not these global communists that want to change our country for the worse. So this is what we're talking about.
Go ahead and cook, AJ. Cook.
Yeah. This is what we're talking about. Folks, as you come in, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. All right. Again, folks, this is the Democrat Socialist true agenda. Speaking of that, take a look at this next clip. This is them telling us what they want to do. I mean, you can't get any clearer than this. This is clip 6.
We have a unique responsibility to act from the heart of empire, the belly of the beast. The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Our role ultimately is to facilitate our own empire's failure in ways that we can, ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
U.S. imperialism is not a thing that can be reformed away. It has to be overthrown through revolutionary struggle.
And to build a mass movement that can use the leverage.
A bunch of weirdos.
First of all, I was about to say, why they all trans?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
And they got the Palestinian Kifo on. This is what this is what we're talking about.
Of workers to hit the kill switch on American imperialism here within the American empire.
These people hate us.
They do. That's what they do. They hate us. They want America to be the next huge Islamic communist country, whatever you want to call it. That's what they want. And they are telling us, okay? They're telling us, they're not hiding it anymore. This is why I'm calling, particularly with these DSA people winning these elections. I think the bell has been rung for the start of the kinetic civil war. We're not just in the word, phase. We're not just in the rhetoric phase and the philosophical phase. I think it's the very start of the battles. I really do. And they're telling us they want overthrow the empire. Well, and where the hell you gonna be? Palestine trans, you're gonna be thrown off a damn roof. Where are you gonna be? Buried upside down, head first, beheaded, and thrown off a roof. Where the hell are you gonna be?
The very first ones killed, let me tell you. The first ones they're going to kill are the people who are not normal, quote unquote, normal people. You can't even decide what sex you are. I mean, who's taking political advice from you? All of them seem very, very, very elite and absolutely confused. 20 years ago, DSM would have had them locked up. That you've got some kind of disorder. And, there's a lot of things going on in your life, and making political decisions and commentary should not be one of them. I get it. Everybody needs to feel big in their bubble, but sometimes a little bit of self-introspection goes a very long way. And those 3-4 people we saw, they got bigger fish to fry, honey. You got bigger fish to fry.
I mean, these are the people that are behind Mamdani's campaign. You got a bunch of weirdo Silence of the Lambs. Put the lotion in the basket. Remember that trans and Silence of the Lambs? These are the people that are leading the cause in New York City. This is ridiculous. But doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, folks. We got to talk about Graham Plattner. Nicole, you called it. You remember? Graham Plattner, folks, Democrats beer test darling, Marine vet turned Senate savior implodes today under his own baggage. Another blue scandal, folks. And this one's is pretty bad. All right, take a look at this next clip here. Jake Tapper is interviewing another woman. This one's bad. A woman who has accused Graham Plattner of the R word and forcing himself on her. All right, here we are. This is I have this clip here. 1 second. This is terrible. This is pretty bad. All right. Let me see here. Give me a second. I gotta pull this up. Well, you called it, Nicole, right?
Sure did. It was almost 6 weeks ago. When he was the talk of the town. Said, nope, we got some more stuff coming. We got some more stuff.
You thought something else was going to drop. And sure enough, today it did. All right, I have it here.
Well,
Okay.
what dropped apparently was his drawers, apparently, allegedly.
Oh, yeah. More than
Right
that.
along with his ethics and morals, right? Yeah. All of it hit the floor.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Here we are. Okay. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay. Here we are. Take a look at this. This is the lady here with what's his name? Jake Tapper. And she's talking about what occurred.
I know that you have been very reluctant to tell this story. Yeah. Very reluctant. Why did you ultimately decide to do it? Why come forward?
A few reasons. One of the biggest ones is that I think that there are a lot of men in this world relying on the silence of women and to be where they are. And I don't want to contribute to that. I also want to just get my life back.
There are going to be people, maybe even his campaign, certainly his supporters, who say this is politically motivated. What would you say to that?
I couldn't disagree more. That was actually one of the reasons that I didn't come out.
Because you agree with his politics.
I do. I really agree with his politics. I think we need somebody with those political stances and who are willing to do the work. And, I see his political videos. They get me fired up as well. I understand why people want someone like him in office. And I felt like me coming forward would potentially take that away. And I felt really uncomfortable with the responsibility and the weight of my story and what that might do.
When people hear this from you, are you saying you should not vote for him because of what happened?
I'm not going to go as far as to say that. I'm just here to tell my story, to give a clearer picture of who he is and the type of past that he has. And I just think it's fair to the democratic process to let people know who they're voting.
Oh, you're muted.
All right, here we go. So, is this the nail in his coffin? Sounds like it to me. It looks like reports AP are talking about a lot of Democrat donors have pulled from his campaign, and the list goes on. Your thoughts, Nicole?
Listen, it's just a matter of time before he calls the campaign. And I say that because he had several major fundraisers over the last 10 days or so, and he attended none of them. He didn't raise any funds. The third quarter report's supposed to come out. We're going to see what he did. And they're saying that it's flat, that he's not really progressed, that he stayed where he was, where Collins is accelerating. And again, I say this when people say this hot new person is coming onto the scene. When that incumbent congressman comes home, they remind you why you voted for them in the first place. And you see them just skyrocket right past the challenger. It happens a lot. But in this case, this man is so incredibly toxic by every single metric. I mean, here's a Democrat who's still considering voting for him, although he, quote unquote, graped her without the G.
Right.
And she's like, it was, it happened back in the day, and I probably will still vote for him. Really? Really? It just goes to show you that mindset. Exactly. It screams liberal, awful woman. If she's watching his videos and it gets her, fired up, knowing damn well he's lying about everything. He's an oyster farmer like I'm an oyster farmer, because I went to my seafood shop and bought some oysters and brought them home, shucked them, and put them on the grill. I've probably done more with oysters than he has. He was born with a silver foot up his butt, $75,000 a year schools. He is not what they dressed him up to be. He's just as fake as Tim Walz was, incredibly fake. But he is what they wanted to present to say, look, we don't have a man problem. Look, we found a guy. We found a man. Now he's a misogynist. He has issues with women. He's got issues with Black people. He got issues with soldiers. He got issues with the flag. He's got issues with the military. But this is the guy you should vote for, because the only person he likes outside of him and his penis and the Nazis is you. Now that's a campaign commercial. And if Democrats still vote for that foolishness, you deserve everything that's going to happen to you.
Yeah. Shelly, what are your thoughts on this new controversy?
Yeah, Justin took the words out of my mouth. I thought we were supposed to believe all women. Oh, that only applies when it's a accusation against a Republican, like Christine, whatever her name is, Ford with Kavanaugh. So the only time you're supposed to believe them is when it goes in that direction. Look, these people, these women. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the women should come out sooner when it happens. Okay. However, the Democrats are going to try to use this, spin it, whatever, or so Platinum may be, to their own benefit. Yes, his funding has dropped. He's supposedly considering the best path forward, I think the reports say. But I don't know what that means necessarily. But until I see him actually leave the campaign, I will believe it then, because these people will do anything to win, okay? Including exploiting the women that they say we're supposed to believe when they make these accusations. Nothing is beyond them. Nothing is off the table for them. They will use every trick and measure to exploit, whitewash. Look at Clinton, President Clinton, beloved as he may be. He had many accusations and some credible sources, if you will, of either raping and or sexually assaulting women. So, I mean, you know, and he could play the saxophone. He smoothed right on past us, okay? He hit those notes and went right on past. It didn't make a difference. So, again, I think Graham Plattner needs to be off the scene, but until he does, I'm not going to move until he actually moves and vacates. That's where I am.
Yeah, and Nicole, so the person who's already, it's a Republican who holds this Senate seat currently.
Susan Collins.
Right, Susan Collins. So I'm not sure if you know, but was he sort of in the lead as far as what prospective polling was saying?
Oh, of course, that happens all of the time. So what happens while the person is still in session, you know, they have to be in Washington, D.C., so they're not actively campaigning. They may have like a little commercial or something going on, but it's not the same. So while they're doing the work, the business of the nation, this upstart 24/7 campaigning. So they get this huge head start, which generally is a good idea because the incumbent has a ton of money because they've been fundraising and people have been writing checks and showing up to dinners and all that kind of thing. So it gives them like a running head start. So you see them kind of go up in the polls and people get really excited. Oh, he's going to clean her clock. But when Miss Collins comes back home, people go, yeah, that's why we voted for Susan. Now I remember. And she comes with some big swagger and she's reminding people that this district got more than $15 or $20 million because I voted on this project for this particular neighborhood. They come back with a big stick and even bigger checkbooks to remind folk who the hell they are. And when they do that, what you see is her skyrocket in the polls and his polls come down. The goal is to meet somewhere in the middle right before the election. So people are making a true choice. But what generally happens is people like Plattner, when that wall starts coming apart, and believe me, there are still things that are coming. There are more things. Like when I tell you the rumor mill is spinning out of control with this guy, it is spinning and spinning. And again, this is not Republican women who are saying this. These are Birkenstock wearing, you know, all of that. What you imagine awful white women looking like. This is who they are. And they're coming out saying, well, yeah, you know, he's pretty handsy, but vote for him anyway. And it just shows you how warped their thinking is and how warped their mind is. But for the average person who lives there, they're thinking, okay, you had one accusation. Yeah, I could hold my nose and close my eyes. But by the time you get past the Nazi tattoo and 20 or 30 other allegations of wrongdoing, and then you lied about what you do for a living, you lied about your education, you lied about everything, and people look at you and go, you're not who I thought you were. Susan is a known entity, and I'm going to vote for Susan. And that's what the Collins campaign is hoping for. So they're working hard. She's leveled the playing field, and some polls are saying that she's actually pulled ahead in a very quick kind of way. So there are a lot of moving pieces to this particular thing. But like Shelley said, I need him killed off. I need him gone. Not just from this race, but from politics, because one thing we know about Democrats is they will repurpose their broken soldiers. They certainly will. He'll come back in a different vein and people will say, oh, I know that name from somewhere. Where do I remember that name from? And it'll be too late. He'll be the mayor. He'll be, you know, lieutenant governor. He'll be something and it'll be too late.
Yeah. All right. We got some supers here.
All right.
Let's see who we have again. We have, oh my God, is that a new person?
Yeah,
BFN. Okay, new. It sounds like it's a new person. Thank you for your $5. Just found you, ladies, a few days ago, and I find you to be a breath of fresh air. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat there. We have who is next?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu CJ is next again. Thank you, Kung Fu CJ. Palestine is already free. New York City needs freedom. I love you, ladies.
Love you,
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. All right, we have Sonia. Thank you, Sonia, for your $5. U.S. citizens are the biggest military in the world, ladies. No communist can take us. Well,
Amen.
Let me add a little. No, we are the biggest military. Let me add it this way: it's not just the communists coming after the military. These are not necessarily battlefield fighters. Okay, they're not with the bayonets and guns. These people have already infiltrated our whole system, from academia to government. Okay, in education on a K through 12 level. They are here. Just our way of life is a communist pall, if you will. It's a communist hovering over our country. So that's what we mean. If I think Abraham Lincoln said it, I can't remember. That we will be we'll fall on ourselves, if you will, internally before someone from the external takes us over.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right. We have Rubin here. Thank you for your $2. Shelly E, KJ, and Nicole, the three wise women.
Thank you, Rupert. Thank you
so much for that. And we have Rio's family. Rio's family, thank you for that. Rio's family gifted a Poppin' Politics membership. So everybody, there you go. Whoever that gift was for, you better partake it and use it and join our Freedom Club here on Poppin' Politics. This is who we are. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we are here. You can also find out more about our other channels at www.metroconservativemedia.com. Go there to that site, look at all the channels that we have, and look at the shows, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when we are on live.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely, folks. Thank you so much. All right. Going to change gears a little bit. Not so much. When we talk about President Trump, again, we've said this time and time again, love him or hate him, okay? He rides for America, all right? He rides for America, and I posted this on social media earlier, whether you're black, white, red, blue, purple, if you are American, President Trump is going to be on your side, and he wants to see us win, okay? Now, whether he's doing it, the best way or not is the question. But his heart is generally in the right place. That takes us to the World Cup. All over the news recently, folks, we saw this hoopla over striker for the U.S., Balogun.
Balogun, okay.
Yeah, his last name is Balogun. He's a striker for the U.S. He's like up there as far as one of the largest, the most goals for the World Cup. He's like in the top 5, I think, maybe top 10. Well, there was a big thing going on with him, I believe, over the weekend, where he received a red card in one of the games. And apparently Trump spoke to FIFA and had the red card suspended. Well, the left is going crazy about this. Take a look here. This is clip 10.
Athletic reporting this morning that Belgium has been granted the right to appeal the decision to allow Flo Balogun to play tonight. Here's the deal. They have until 8 a.m. Eastern, so a little over 2 hours from now, to make a submission to FIFA. All this after FIFA handed the U.S. a massive boost yesterday by delaying Balogun's one-game suspension.
Among those applauding FIFA's decision was President Trump, who posted this message on Truth Social after allegedly asking the head of FIFA for a review. He says, "Thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice."
Belgium's Football Federation not hiding its frustration, saying they were, quote, astonished by the decision. Quote, "In order to safeguard the legitimate rights of all participating teams and to protect the fundamental principles of fair play in our sport, both at this FIFA World Cup and at future editions of the tournament, the RBFA is investigating all potential options." So, Carly, you might expect that in the next 2 hours, they're going to do something that The Athletic reported they are going to do.
All right. So he's on probation, but Balogun played. He played today in tonight's game against Belgium. I'm hearing we're down by 3, I believe. But we wanted to talk about this move because, again, this was very controversial. A lot of people upset about what President Trump did. And so here to join us, big soccer fan, big political, Isaiah is here with us. Isaiah Carter from Apostate Radio. How are you tonight, Isaiah?
Hey, Isaiah.
Hi, Isaiah. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to see y'all. How y'all doing?
Good, wonderful.
Great. We are great. Just
Okay.
still on a high from 4th of July, but we want to get right into this. I'm going to ask you, want to come right. What did you think about what President Trump did in regards to getting this player back in to play?
Well, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything differently from any other, any other president or whatever, like a leader of a country with a big, with a lot of stakes on the line in the World Cup. I mean, this is nothing new. Like this always happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be honest with you. What I'm really upset about is the way that the U.S. men's national team went out tonight. Here's what drives me crazy. And I really didn't want to get political about this because, of course, we're talking about, the World Cup. We're talking about soccer. We're talking about like the best in the world competing against one another. Here's what drives me crazy. Trump calls Gianni Infantino a clear, like I saw the foul on Balogun last week. It was not a good foul at all. Well, it wasn't. No, it didn't meet the red card standard, at least to me. Right?
Me either. I saw it too. Me either.
I mean, I play ball. I play soccer. I watch soccer regularly. I am, I'm rocking the U.S. men's national team kit. Hey, great to see y'all. But then you go, and Trump goes and gets Balogun back on the pitch, and he was a non-factor tonight. Tonight was one of the worst matches. They just completely gave up. 3 horrible goals. Okay, and it's like, so now Trump calls in this favor and y'all don't return it with a win. Now, granted, I mean, the two don't have anything to do with it, but still, it's like, dude, they looked awful tonight.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm hearing in the chat that they lost.
They did. And Belgium lost the appeal anyway.
Okay. Belgium lost the appeal. Belgium lost the appeal anyways. But again, it's like the quality of the play did not match the favor that was called in.
All right, come on, Isaiah. All right, quality of the play aside, I didn't watch it. I'm not a soccer fan. I'm not anti-soccer, right? I thought the whole controversy was funny, but I'm not going to suspend my reality. 2 things. Number 1, I thought politics was supposed to be outside of sports. That's number 1. Number 2, because now look, I know Trump does that. FIFA in and of itself, I don't know, the red card, yellow card, from what I understand, the foul met at least a yellow card, certainly not the red card.
Yes.
But had he been, well, he was allowed back in the game. Don't you think this would at least put an asterisk on this with the scorecard thing?
Not really.
Why not?
Not really. No, because again, the foul, in my opinion, the foul did not meet. It didn't meet the
right. I get that, but according to the rules,
any of that.
According to the rules, the refs can do yellow card, red card. They chose the worst, which it probably didn't meet that standard. But what happened to follow the rules? What happened to follow the authorities? I mean, I'm just saying, all this, the politics of it doesn't look good. Now, I mean, I'm upset that we didn't win, and I'm not even a soccer fan. I wanted us to win, but the politics of it just doesn't look good at face value.
True, but again, I think the primary reason that so many people have made a big deal about it, especially on the left, is because it's Trump doing it. It's Trump calling in a favor. Everybody knows that Trump has a has a relationship with Gianni Infantino, the current president of FIFA. Like this does not surprise me. I've spoken with many of many people who I know in and around soccer, and like the consensus is basically the same, right? Like some of the a couple of friend of mine that I spoke to was like, oh well, I don't know if I can follow the team now because of all the politics going on. And I told him, I said, no, come back. Like you have to talk some people off the ledge. It's like, dude, it's fine. You the one thing that drives me crazy in this TDS, this day and age where we have to deal with Trump derangement syndrome. Everything that Trump says, everything that Trump does is opposed reflexively by the left, even if it's a good thing. Like I'm seriously waiting for Trump to say, maybe you should breathe a little oxygen. Little oxygen is good for the lungs. You breathe in and you breathe out. And I'm telling you, you're going to see a bunch of Democrats on MS Now going blue.
Yeah, right. I mean, to me, it's just when I heard about this, I've seen this done before on not, of course, not in the World Cup. Well, it has been done in the World Cup, but just on smaller scales in professional soccer. And, these club owners, if they have a way to do somehow, give a word or say something's not right, they disagree with something, they'll do it. They will do it. And same thing with the coaches. I mean, people battle the refs all the time. They talk to the owners of these different tournaments and things, and they say, this needs to be changed. And the tournament owners can either choose to do it or they can, go against it. Now, what we're seeing here that happened was Balgan. FIFA suspended Ronaldo back in 2025 from a red card in a World Cup qualifier. And so then they let him play in this 2026 World Cup. Okay, so I mean, this kind of stuff does happen, but I think it's just been pretty much blown out of proportion because it is Trump. And so it is what it is. But again, as you mentioned, Isaiah, it's sad that the boys didn't bring home the win today. And so
what you all are saying, Isaiah, what you're saying is that the bottom line is that all of these sports, let's say the FIFA World Cup, FIFA. So y'all don't know. I'm sorry. FIFA, the World Cup. So what you're saying is basically they are rigged, corrupt, whatever. I know the players, don't get me wrong, the players and athletes in and of themselves have tremendous skill. But basically what you're saying to me, I'm just keeping it real. Behind the scenes, it doesn't really matter because they can be manipulated, corruption, networks, whatever, calling in a favor, like KJ just said, then that plays a big part too.
I wouldn't take it to the level of being rigged because you're asking them to take a second look at
corrupt, calling in favors.
What do you think, Isaiah? I mean,
like I said, he didn't do anything different than any other team in the world, like any other country in the world. I mean, we see like I said earlier, we see this all the time with, whenever the federations, whenever the national teams get to play in these international leagues, there are times when, they're, somebody's going to call in a favor and it'll be up to the discretion of whoever. Now, again, Trump is not the last person. He's not the first. He's not going to be the last. Do I think he might be? I mean, unless the next president is as much of a soccer fan as he is. I mean, Trump is believe it or not, President Trump is a big soccer fan. Unless the next U.S. president is as much of a soccer fan as he is, it's hard to say.
Take Trump out of it. Take Trump out of it. Just as I guess as a corporation or an organization, basically there's already corruption in the corporation. Take Trump out of it.
Well, I mean, when it comes to FIFA, I mean, listen, FIFA is objectively has a history of being one of the most corrupt leagues being one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. I mean, like FIFA are the governing body of soccer throughout the world. Okay. Especially in Europe and in North America. So you do have a point there with the, I mean, just look at the last president of FIFA, Sepp Blatter. Like, there was huge corruption with him, massive corruption. But in this particular case, I mean, like I said, I don't look at it with as like Trump just did what any other
would do it. I mean, right.
What any other leader of a country would do, he did it. And again, and the only reason why there's this meltdown, you've got Americans actively rooting against their own, like,
that's the crazy thing. For me,
their own team and their own country just because
they hate
Trump called in a favor.
Yeah.
Just because you hate Trump. It's just trash.
So you think the controversy affected the team's play? Do you think it brought morale down, and that's why they got
hard? To be honest with you, I could make an argument for that because of the boneheaded decisions that were made today. Like, I would encourage you, ladies. I mean, I know you're not. Well, some of you aren't into soccer, KJ. I know you are, but I would encourage you to watch the game. Watch tonight's game. It'll be on YouTube. It's like the mistakes, the bonehead. Like, you could tell their minds were somewhere else.
Yeah.
Their minds
Well,
were
and
somewhere else.
it could have something to do with Trump. It couldn't. I mean, I've seen this happen all over a lot. It just they had a bad night. Unfortunately, they may have just had a bad night. Well, we got to thank you for coming on, Isaiah, to give us the rundown.
Thanks for having me.
Before we let you, who do you think is going to take the whole thing? Who do you think is going to win the whole thing now?
I think it's going to be France. To be honest with you, it's going to be one of two. It's going to be either France or Argentina, one of the two. Mbappe's looking unstoppable, though he was getting a little spicy with the leader of I think it's Paraguay.
Yeah, Paraguay.
So Mbappe is, that young man is on the rise. Although I will say this, even though I'm thinking it could be either France or Argentina, do not count Norway out.
Ooh,
now, I've heard people talk about Norway. I've heard some of the reports. Norway, they said, is pretty good. So
you should look up their uniforms. Like their whole kits are made up like the Norwegian flag.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And also, I will say this: Erling Haaland, who is one of the most prolific strikers I've ever seen play this game, he has been an incredible booster for the United States. He's been all over social media, dressing up in like cowboy boots and a Stetson hat and everything else. He's incredible.
I'm sorry, Isaiah. Before you go, I got one more question for Isaiah. I thought of this. Okay, I just want to get your feel for it. When Trump made that call, did you look at it as kind of a DEI call because that guy is black? He didn't need, don't get me wrong, he didn't need the help. I'm not saying he needed it, but I said, oh my gosh, Trump put that guy in a bad position. He made a DI call.
No. I mean, that's funny. It is pretty funny. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I mean, again, like the foul again, I don't know. I'd have to explain some of the way these fouls work. I mean, it's kind of like the refs looking for anything in terms of like trying to find intent. Like you have to have the intent to hurt a player. And I just didn't see that with that foul. I just didn't. So, like, do I think? But was it a DEI? Was it a DEI call in?
No way.
I tell you what. I mean, it makes Trump out to be, just more of the worst the worst racist ever. I mean, come on, like you go and help out a black kid. Like, come on. Anyway.
All right. Well, we got to get you back on, Isaiah. Thank you for coming on. Please shout out your channel as well.
Sure. Apostate Radio. There have been several changes. We are now on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. I just recently got a promotion at my 9 to 5, so I had to rework things accordingly. We are on hiatus for the month of July. We'll be coming back in August with brand new episodes. Also, please make sure you keep my wife Kareen in y'all's prayers. Going in for surgery later this week. So yeah,
certainly will.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on your
promotion. Yeah,
thank you. I'll have to tell you about it off air or something. But yeah,
thanks for the conversation.
Of course, thank you for having me. Y'all are great. I love being here with y'all.
All right. Good night. All right. Well, he said he's on hiatus for July, so maybe we can get him back on for some episodes.
That's right. All right. We got some super chatters here, I think.
Yes, indeed.
All right. We have Justin. Hi, Justin. Again, thank you for your $5. Thank you at Rio's Family Garden.
Hey,
thank you so much for your super chat. And we have Paul. Hi, Paul. That's our guy too. Thank you, Paul, for your chat tonight, your super chat, supporting my favorite podcast, and you're our favorite guy. Thank you, Paul. Everybody else, hit that like, share, and subscribe. How many people do we have watching? Over 300. Almost 400 people. So make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button before you leave our house. Clean up after yourself. Go ahead and do it right now. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely. Well, before Isaiah came on, we were talking. I can't remember which one of you were talking about it. Either Shelly or Nicole had said something about how, we here in America, we it seems like we are collapsing in on ourselves. We're collapsing from within. All right. And it's not just the left that are doing this. Okay, folks, it's on the right too. The right is sort of I'll say parts of the right, the political right, are coming against us. And that takes us to Candace Owens. All right. We haven't talked about her in a while, but when she came out in response to 4th of July and came out against the founding. So she is slamming America's founding. And I want to ask you guys about these claims that she's making. Take a look at this. This is clip 7.
I was in study with some priests. They sort of pish-poshed me. I was in England studying with some priests, and they were just sort of like, everything that you Americans think you know is so foolish. Like, America was obviously founded by Freemasons. And now I'm really understanding, like, yes, you had these Freemason lodges that came over, the Scottish Rite, B'nai B'rith, and they were the reason behind the Civil War. They were the reason, but they were literally fighting for control of America. And the way that they do this is very similar to what we're seeing today. There's this kind of mainstreamed lie. I mean, let's get if you ask Americans, it was just the tea tax was too high. And this is what we did. We started throwing it out in the harbor, and we said, we're ready to go to war. Now that I say it, it sounds so stupid.
Sounds kind of dumb, don't it? Sounds kind of dumb.
Basic.
Like, I know it was a couple hundred years ago, but people were people.
What? How much is this tea cost? Oh, no. Paul Revere, the British are coming. It's actually
just stop.
Just stop. So childish.
And it's gay. It's gay. It's gay. It's gay.
Yeah.
It's implausible. It is fake and gay.
You literally, now that I'm getting into the Freemasonry.
Is it any wonder that a country founded on a fake and gay mythology would have as its primary export, just a couple of hundred years later, sodomy as a condition of foreign aid? Is it so surprising? No, it's not. Not to me.
All right. So you all know she's married to a Brit. She had a British guy on the channel there, and they're basically saying that Masons were the big influence within our founding. I mean, Nicole, what is she talking about? First of all, there's no data showing there was some grand Masonic plot in the founding of America. What do you think?
If she really thinks this nation was founded because tea tax was too high, I need her to go back to 3rd grade. I need her just to go back to elementary school. She's got children. Pick up one of their books and read. I get that, it's clickbait, it's rage bait, especially on the 4th of July. She's got to get her numbers up. But let me tell you, there's going to be a date coming up real soon where she's going to get the full lesson on what American jurisprudence looks like when she has to go to court in Delaware, of all places. Significant to George Washington. There we go. To Delaware to find out whether or not she will be held to account for the trash that she's been saying about Brigitte Macron. It's coming very quickly. It is coming very quickly. Tea is the least of your damn concerns. And it wasn't a tea tax the only reason. It was the final reason. You know more American history than that. This whole thing, just looking at the image of these two people sitting there having that conversation, they sound drunk. They sound like, you know, somebody's been hitting the bong. I mean, like, there's something wrong with both of them. He's got his shirt unbuttoned down to his belly button and sunglasses on, and she's sitting in her turtleneck and a jacket. What the hell's going on here? I mean, I just feel uncomfortable listening to them. Like you're going to lose brain cells just trying to understand their point of view. These two people, you know, and I don't know if he's a citizen. She's, you know, clearly a citizen. I don't know what they have going on, but, you know, your bitter Betty is showing. It really is. This is a time to celebrate this nation. And if you can't say something nice, be quiet. Why don't you just figure out something? You could talk about Tyler Robinson. You can talk about what's going on in England. You can continue to bash, you know, Christians. You can do all of that. But can we just have one damn day where you're not putting both of your feet in your mouth and wiggling your toes around? Can we just have one day of that? It would be so nice. So nice.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
First of all, I don't know. I mean, I know some of what she may be implying, but overall, this was a goofy conversation. But not only that, we talked earlier about these ingrates here, Americans who are just totally to show their ingratitude. To me, that conversation, it really, what's the word I want to say? It really gave a finger again. I've been giving fingers all night. It gave a finger to the Declaration of Independence. This, not just historic, but it's a beautiful document in and of itself. If you just read through it, the case is laid out for why we are claiming independence from Britain, from the king. It laid it out step by step, the treaties, the causes, what must be done, things like that. So it really just dumbs that down, the Declaration of Independence. It makes it look like it's nothing but a sheet of dirty toilet tissue. And again, these ingrates, Milo, I forget where he's from. He's from the UK, I think, originally. Yeah. He's here on our soil again, earning and thriving, if you will. Go back to Britain, stay there, be under the monarchy, if you will, or the parliamentary system. But here in America, we have literal sweat, blood, and tears from our founders on up to our current military today. So to me, that conversation, it was not just goofy. It was a sign of ingratitude, but it was just disrespectful to our country. It was just disrespectful to our foundings. Yes, there were Masons involved. Many or some of our founders were Freemasons, and all through history. So what? Our founders and the founding documents that were laid out, the Tea Party was just one pivotal incident in the whole Revolutionary War. So this was just disrespectful. Again, these are the people who live and breathe on American soil to their benefit at the highest pinnacle, the highest stakes, but yet they have the audacity to downgrade it every little turn they get. Go.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking. They're parasites on the left and some on the right, folks.
Absolutely.
You know, a diverse group of Christian influenced patriots built this nation, okay, on biblical principles, Enlightenment ideas. All right. So Freemasonry, it did play a role for some, but it certainly was not the driving force, as she was trying to say. All right, we know that I think it was 9 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. Just 9. Okay, most of the people who signed it were Protestant. You know, she hates Protestants. She hates that now. Okay, they were Protestants or deists with strong Christian roots. All right, this is what we're talking: biblical covenants. Not lodge rituals, as she was trying to imply. All right. But this is why it's so important to know our history. You know, they're not trying to teach us in school. We got to know our history and understand what occurred. All right. Now, again, we're not saying there were no Freemasonries. We know there was some Freemasons. There were Masonic ties. All right. I think George Washington was a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the key architects, like James Madison, were not. All right, and he is called the father of the Constitution. Where was that? Why didn't she mention that? Because she's trying to paint a narrative. All right, for clicks. We all know right now, Candace Owens, her majority of her audience are no longer conservative. Now she has a large Islamic audience. She has globalists, all right, and she has leftists. And so she is now trying to move that algorithm. She's playing to that algorithm, and it no longer makes sense to bear to the truth.
This is another thing I think I saw, I don't know, she went to Russia recently, and I know Tucker has gone there. What is this? And again, Americans can travel anywhere, any country that you travel. I think, see the world. I'm not even anti going to Russia just for a tour or whatever, but they come back with such dripping, salivating salvos for Russia. And maybe it is, I've never been. So maybe it is a beautiful country. Maybe it is clean, but as if that is the whole basis to run a country, just on how clean it is and how beautiful it is. Yes, we have dirty here and homelessness. I get it. But what about the system of government there? How is it different and anti, if you will, our U.S. values, our U.S. founding values, Christian values, Judeo-Christian values? They don't talk about that. So that's a little
part of it, Shelley.
Yeah.
We talked about we all know that Alexander Dugin, who is a historian in Russia, big philosophical person in Russia. He is behind much of this. He spoke many, many years ago about somehow capturing the right, particularly the Christian right in America, and causing destruction and all kinds of issues on the right in America in order to add to its collapse. So you have the communists on the left, and you have these Duginites, or what they're calling them, on the right, that are using patriotism and playing on, how we as Christian conservatives, as conservatives, are so tired of what we're seeing on the left. They're playing to that and trying to cause some type of crack in America. It's all for the destruction of America. And they're using people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others to do it.
The strange thing about it is, and when people talk foolishness, I allow them their moment because they worked real hard. The mental gymnastics it takes to try to make that point, I'm going to give her credit for the effort that she burned, but it worked, right? You can complain about the founding all you want, but here you are, little skinny Black woman married to a white British man, living here in the United States, making god-awful money, doing very little work, with hints and innuendo. It worked. You're a living testament to it working. So I don't care if it was 3 Klansmen, 2 ducks, and a bald-legged dog. It makes no difference. It worked. You're a living testament to how great America is. Her, Sunny Hostin, Jasmine Crockett, especially when you hear all of these Black people coming for this nation, I just want to remind them, freedom. The freedom that we enjoy in this nation is not enjoyed by people who look like us across this globe. There are people who look like us who are enslaved by the very same countries that pay you through their shell companies to be a social media influencer. Let's do all of that. We're going to call it out because they don't write us no checks. I don't give a damn. Let's do it. There are other nations who want to influence our influencers to influence you.
Right.
Follow that line of logic. To plant the seeds that America is a horrible country, that no person who looks like us, sounds like us is getting ahead. And we're being downtrodden by this, quote unquote white man. Now I know a bunch of white men and they're not holding anybody down. In fact, they're all out here doing what I do, what KJ does, what Shelley does, what you in the chat do. We go to work every day to pay our bills, to pinch a little something to the side so we can have a nice life and provide some nice things for our loved ones. This is what Americans do. We keep our heads down and work. But while we're doing that, the very same people that KJ was talking about, these fringe lunatics on both sides, are plotting to destroy us. So we no longer have the luxury of being blind Americans, just work and do good things and take care of your neighbor and everything's going to be okay. That's behind us. We got to keep our eyes open, head on a swivel to protect our children, to protect our churches, to protect our nation. We no longer can live like it's 1950 anymore, folks. We can't. So when you see foolishness, call it out, stamp it out. Yeah. Call it out, stamp it out. And it doesn't matter whose face it comes from.
Right. Yuri Bezmenov, I think that's his name, the Russian, he told us this years ago that this communist takeover, a former Russia, CIA, whatever, Russia person. He told us this, and I'm going to watch that again tonight because he said these things. And this is what I mean earlier about whoever gave us a comment about the military not being taken over. We're being taken over from within. It's not even the military fighting necessarily. This is what we mean. So.
Yeah, it's conspiracists and globalists. Okay, they love painting America as a secret society project for what? To downplay our biblical roots. This is, folks, if we don't start calling this what it is, it's a spiritual warfare that we have going on. All right. Now, Freemasons were a networking fraternity for some elites. All right. Yes, they were useful in the fight against the crown. All right. But the founders, most of them were Bible-believing Christians and classical liberals who rejected tyranny, not building some occult new world order. All right. But this is what they have to do. Remember, from Plymouth Rock, the covenant, in God we trust. All right. This republic stands on faith. All right. Not what she's talking about. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't here, but I'm not going to allow some revisionist Masonic wash to take over our history, because it's not true. Sound off in the chat. Let us know what you all think. I think we have some super chats here.
We have some super chats here. Kung Fu CJ, $2. Thank you. KO is the gutter bunny. I think he means Candace. Oh, the gutter bunny of the week. I don't know what's CBL mean. What does that mean? Y'all know I'm not good with acronyms. Yeah, I don't know.
Let us know.
Put it in the chat, Kung Fu CJ, what CBL means. All right. Thank you for that. We have another Kung Fu CJ again. Please go to wallbuilders.com for the truth. Yes, the Barton brothers have been around for a long time. And they are very astute historians with a Judeo-Christian perspective, and they're just very a wealth of information. Go there. Yep. Thank you all for your super chats tonight. Kung Fu CJ put that acronym in the chat. I don't know what all these acronyms mean, so you got to spell it out for me. So thank you all for your likes, shares, and subscribe. But keep doing it. Keep doing it before you leave if you have not done so already, and hit that notification bell so you'll know exactly when we go live.
Absolutely, folks. All right, we got one more thing to talk about tonight before we go. Thank you all for hanging in with us. Make sure you remember to share this broadcast. Share it on your social media, share it in a text message and a DM. That really helps to get this out to a wider audience. All right, we got to talk about, we've been talking about a lot of just the 4th of July and things like that went on. And this was a really heartwarming story of this man, a Black man living in the west side of Chicago. And he said, we have to stop blaming white supremacy for the issues in the Black community. Take a look at what he had to deal with on 4th of July weekend. This is clip 8.
See, look, they putting the red tape up now. Lord have mercy, they putting the red tape up.
People call me a coon all the time because I criticize the culture, but ain't nothing more coon-worthy than terrorizing your own people.
This is the result of your fucking culture.
Listen to the screams of this woman in the background. Do you hear that? It's not white supremacy that caused that.
2:30 in the PM. Ambulances, police cars, and fire trucks.
I was sitting in the car making content like I always do, and I heard about 13, 14, 15 shots. And next thing I knew, police was speeding down my block to get to this block. Then next thing I knew, there was a police officer escorting an ambulance up my block the wrong way down the one-way because the hospital is down the street. So then I get over here, and y'all saw what was happening, so maybe it was multiple victims. Woo! It's 2:30 in the PM. The shooting was at like 2:15, something like that. All these all these toddlers and babies and women and children, old folks, just on this block alone. Chicago was full of regular people, but the animals who live here don't give a shit. Put tape up and shit. It's 2:30 in the PM, y'all. I cannot stress this shit enough. The only reason it wasn't raining last night is because it was literally raining last night. Thank God for all the rain last night. Who knows how many bullets would have been outside last night in the rain? Thank God it was raining last night. We were actually able to enjoy the 4th of July. But as soon as the rain starts, see, look, they putting the red tape up now. Lord have mercy, they putting the red tape up. She just got the news. Poor lady. Christ, y'all can call me a coon all you want. I ain't never caused nobody no pain like this. Ever in my life. Never.
Oh my goodness. All right. But where were the headlines about this? This is a leftist city. Chicago. Where were Sonny Hostin and Jasmine Crockett and the rest of them? Nobody talked about this. No, they were out here making a big to-do over some white nationalists marching through DC in Image One here. And these people took the DC train back to wherever they came from, and they made a big deal because there was one black lady on the train, and she was surrounded by these white nationalists. They didn't do anything to her. They didn't assault her. They didn't call her even any names. This was the big issue over the weekend. Nothing about Chicago. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Those images, well, particularly that black woman, I first saw it, that was staged. That didn't happen like that. It did not happen organically. Okay, they didn't just come on that bus or subway and that black lady was sitting there. And no, you're right, they didn't bother her nevertheless, but it was all for photo ops. Okay, that's number one. But number two, let me say this.
Well, it wasn't staged.
Yeah, I think it was, and unless it was a photo op, unless, and I don't want people to have to do this, but there is no lament, if you will. There is no, like that guy said, that woman, until you have heard a parent, a family member literally howling at the sudden death, horrible death of their loved one, you don't want to hear it, number one, but there's nothing like it. Okay, there's nothing like it. And what that man is describing, it seems to happen almost every weekend, because didn't we just talk about these shootouts in Chicago the prior week before the 4th of July? So this seems to be an occurrence, and the media won't show this, number one, because hey, it's black on black crime. That's what I say. And I'm gonna tell you why they won't show it. Because if black people don't care about black lives, why should they? Why the hell should they? This seems to be a recurring incident every weekend. Brandon Johnson doesn't seem to care. Certainly the people who are murdering each other, slaughtering each other, they have no affinity for life in and of itself. These people are animals. They need to be placed in the jungle, dropped some damn where, and let them fend for themselves. Take them from the rest of us, because the rest of us want to live, raise our families, share our values, our faith, things like that. But this is why the media is not going to do this. They're going to show the race stuff because that's what sells. The race baiting sells. It gets the click. It gets the comments, it gets the advertisements, and it's always directional from a black person being aggrieved against some white person. Those Patriot Front guys, even though if they're on the right, they're extremists, and we should call them out. Okay, we should call them out. That black girl on that bus or whatever woman, she was not harmed by them, and I still believe it was staged. It was staged to some degree. That's what I believe. But nevertheless, like Attorney Sperling said last week, race sells, race gets the clicks, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts? I mean, we're told by the left that white supremacy is the number one issue facing Black America. Doesn't look like it to me when you look at what's going on in Chicago, Baltimore, and Philly.
Black people are not a monolith, as you guys well know. We come in every single variety, and there's a part of our culture, a subculture, that is just eating away at itself. And it's not I had beef with this person. This is a demonic spirit that has overcome these people, and they no longer see value in life and freedom and all the things that everybody else cherished. And, and it's not just poor people, because the mayor of Chicago, Mr. Johnson, you heard that woman cry out. You heard the misery, the anguish, the heartbreak. You heard her soul crying out. 5,000 other mothers have made that same damn cry since he's been in office. More than 5,000. And he doesn't care. He's unmoved. His fellow Democrats are so unmoved because Black on Black crime is not click-worthy. It isn't. It is not. Unless it's a Black mother who's pregnant getting beat up by some elementary school kids. Now that'll get you some clicks. Let's run with that. But there's not a weekend that goes by where somebody who looks like us isn't gunned down in Chicago. It is a part of their everyday life. And I'm going to tell you, Chicago is a beautiful city. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Even the places that are, quote unquote, the bad neighborhoods look pretty good by comparison to some bad neighborhoods we have right here in this beautiful state. It makes me sad when I think about the lives that have been lost. But what makes me even sadder is the people who get elected to office to continue to make sure that it happens. Brandon Johnson has blood on his hands. He has the blood of more than 5,000 Chicagoans who died needlessly on his hands. And you can't blame that on white people. You can't blame that on Black people who don't like this ghetto shit. You can't blame anybody but yourself and that demonic spirit that has overcome you and the lack of leadership to keep these people, as Shelley said, cordoned off to themselves until they can get the help they need. By cordoned off, I mean prison. Stop slapping them on the wrist and letting them go before the paperwork is damn done. Lock them up. That's what we have jails for. I don't want to hear, the school to jail pipeline. There's a reason for the pipeline. Because if you can't act right in school and you're shooting and killing people on the weekends, what's going to happen when you become an adult? Well, what's going to happen is you're killing people at 2:30 in the afternoon in Chicago. That's what happens. Some people are just not right. Some people are just not fit. And we have to come to terms with that as a culture. Some people just ain't going to make the trip. And I'm okay with it. Lock them up.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about this on Christian Conservative. Folks, check out at KJ Christian Conservative on YouTube, that the spiritual side of this is, folks, we have a community that is living in unrepentant sin. This is the issue. We used to have back in the day, grandma and auntie and everybody see you doing something and somebody would call you out on it. Oh, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's not right. That's not how we were taught. That's not what. But now everybody's excusing everything. Everybody's saying, oh, that's okay. Let this one move in with this one. Let this one have sex with that one. All this type of crap. Everything is being dismissed, and it's unrepentant sin is the problem. Unrepentant sin. All right. And we talked about that on Christian Conservative last week. But back to that photo of the DC Metro train. Mm-hmm. So they were Patriot Front, are the people. Their neo-fascist white nationalist outfit formed post 2017 Charlottesville. Mm-hmm. And they were actually marching in downtown DC on the 4th of July. All right. So apparently that photo was snapped. They had boarded the DC train to go back to Maryland, actually. Okay.
Where you have to park. Yeah, because you can't park in DC unless you have a pass or a Union Station. No, the best place is to park, but everybody rides the Metro.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
And photographer Cheney Orr captured it. Now, what the thing that the left would like, this photo went viral, and the left said, oh my God, this Black girl is surrounded by neo-fascist white supremacists. Well, of course, nothing happened to her. But who is this Black girl? Well, today video came out. She's some nut. So prior to this video capturing this image, she was on the train. I don't know if she was pleasuring herself or she just was naked. She pulled her pants down and was diddling in her behind and doing all kinds of weird stuff. All right. And so she's got a rap sheet longer than my arm. where she's some type of ex-con and all kinds of stuff. So, but we say all that to say the left tried to paint this as, oh my God, this is what it's like living in America, and actually they should have been afraid. Okay. They stopped her from really having a good time because she was on the train. She pulled down her pants and everything. The video was online. All right.
Do you know what's crazy, KJ, is people like that ride the train, especially metro trains in DC. They're waiting for somebody to fall asleep so they can take your cell phone and pickpocket your money. They do it in almost anywhere where you have a subway train. They wait for tired people to get on the train. You've been working hard all day, and that lulling will rock you to sleep sometimes, and you'll wake up and you won't even have clothes on your back. But you have to keep your head on a swivel. But what I loved about that picture, and when the leftists were having this hissy fit about, oh, the racists are on the train. Well, the racists are at MSNBC too. Let's do that. Just because their skin is white doesn't make them any more racist than your brown skin makes you racist. You said more racist things than these men on this train. In fact, the guys sitting over her shoulder are just sitting there riding the damn train.
That's what I mean by stage. That's what I mean by stage. Not so much that they sat there and posed for the picture. What I mean by stage is that from the cameraman or whoever wrote the article, from their perspective, the journalists, they created this narrative that wasn't so. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not that the girl, they got the girl and told her to sit there. No, that's not what I'm talking about stage. It's all fake. When I saw that picture, I said, this didn't happen like this. It didn't happen like this. This is somebody.
And they're also talking about how these guys aren't even conservative. People are saying that this unit, and again, I have not confirmed this. It's been alleged they are bought and paid for by Soros. Okay, so they've been paid for by him and their foundation to create this idea that white supremacists are taking over the right. Okay, so again, I mean, this is what we're talking about. But guess what, folks? She was safer on that train, her old nasty self, old stinking hand self. She is safer on that train than she is on a train with a bunch of gang members and things in Chicago who look like her.
Who look like her.
Yeah.
What was her name? Arena? Yeah, she was tired. She got on the train.
Yeah.
Arena on the
you see what happened to her.
Absolutely.
She was sitting there minding her business. Yeah. It's just remarkable to me, though, that they say this: a picture is worth 1,000 words, but this is the part they leave off, and you get to choose them. Because two people can look at that exact same picture and see many, many different things. Right. Now, if they were spitting on her, leering at her, talking all this trash, but it looks like they were just riding the metro downtown like most folks do.
They ignore her like she wasn't even there.
Yes. All they did was spell her in her stinky hands, smelling like ass, because she just got finished digging in her behind. Yeah. So that's what we got to look forward to. Thank God for them. No telling what she would have done if they hadn't gotten on the train. All right, folks. That does it for us tonight. I wish it was funny, but you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Absolutely.
It does make you rethink sitting down on the train, though. Maybe you just better off.
I hate crying that thing. I actually saw a man in the DC Metro stood at the top of the metro thing and peed and the pee came down the escalator handrail. He was just let himself pee down. This is awful.
Did you see the clip of the people that look like us taking a rest in the meat cooler at the
I was so disappointed. It was bad enough he was in there, and then she gonna jump in there with him, giggling and kikiing and hee-heeing. You guys know I hate being hot. Hot is KJ's thing. She likes the sun and the sizzle and the burn and all of that.
I loved it. This weekend I was in heaven. It was so hot. Oh, I loved it.
KJ, what's the Cash App? What's the Cash App to give out?
Oh, we have the Cash App here. Be More Pop Stars, I believe, is the Cash App. Thank you all so much.
There you go, Rupert. It's at the crawl at the bottom. It's at the crawl, Rupert. There you go. Get the Cash App there. Everybody else, we thank you for your super chats tonight. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. Also, go to our website, www.metroconservativemedia.com, and our Discord page where you can drop photos of yourself wearing the merchandise. So go ahead and do that, and we will give you a shout out. Thank you for your support tonight.
All right. So we'll be back on Friday this week. We'll be back on Friday, folks, Friday night at 9 p.m. You do not want to miss it. Again, check out some of our old videos if you haven't already seen everything, and we will see you on Friday. We may pop on before then because we want to cover this Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson case. We do. That's another thing. Oh, I could be on here all night, folks. You hear people are going against Charlie Kirk's widow. She's sitting up there with Charlie Kirk's parents. So if she's such a horrible person, I've been saying this from day one, why are Charlie Kirk's parents sitting up there with her, right there, standing beside her? It doesn't even make sense. All right. You guys, thank you so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.
What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch.
Get the classic shirt. Classic. Goes with everything, comes in a variety of colors. Smart, edgy, conservative, like us, like you. This is a great way to support the channel. Click the merch button.
There is no shame in being an American. You get your shirt today and be unapologetic about it. Get your shirt, wear it, and be a proud American.
You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics.